There are so many talented Greeks all over the world, and I'm sitting with one of them. Άγγελο Λάμπρου is haute couture, wedding designer, and not only. He is a South African Greek Cypriot.
Absolutely right.
And he came to the United States in 2000 to take over the wedding gown world. He's done many Miss Universe and Miss Botswana pageants. And his work speaks for itself. I mean, Angelo, you're very talented. I'm one of your biggest fans.
Well, thank you, Gianna. You've always been, yes, and a great friend too. So wedding dresses, it's just one of the things that we do. We do haute couture, so that means in the mix of doing evening couture, we also do bridal couture. So they're one-of-a-kind wedding dresses.
I'd love you to tell our audience the difference of couture. Define
okay,
couture.
So couture. I mean, couture is a word that everybody throws here and there, and it's kind of like
they're using
lost
it too
its
much,
value.
and that's why I want to explain to people what is couture.
What is couture?
It's an art.
Couture is absolutely an art. Couture is something that is referred to a gown that is handmade. Okay, so usually it's not something that is mass-produced. It's not a gown that has been made 1,000 times and comes to you, you know.
So it's one of a kind. When you're getting a couture, it is yours, and signature, baby, it's all yours.
Touched by my hands. Yeah.
And your dresses are an art because they really remind me of a lot of the exhibits that they do at the Met. Every time I go to the Met, and I'll see something, you know, Vivienne Westwood,
Alexander
McQueen. They're just an art, and this is what I feel when I look at your gowns. The lines and the drapes and what inspires you, Angelo, when you design?
Well, Gianna, you know, everyone asks me that same question, and you know, I've often racked my brains thinking, what does inspire me? You know, I'm not one to take off and sit on the Tibetan mountains getting inspiration, you know. So my inspiration really is derived by women, my customers. You know, who am I dressing and how do I want this woman to look like? And ultimately, it's that woman who inspires me.
That is amazing.
And life, of course.
Yes. And I notice you use a lot of different colors and not that really bright white when you design and use fabric. Your textiles are exquisite. They're silks. They're not very bulky. Tell me about where do you find your textiles?
Well, look, all of our textiles are natural silks, okay? I insist on using only natural fibers. And they're all derived from Europe. They're all Italian or French silks. And I only use the best laces out of France. So I do believe that, you know, in order to achieve the best quality in an outfit, you have to use the best ingredients.
Yes.
In my case, that being fabric.
And growing up, where did you study and who were your idols as a designer?
All right, so my first idol was my father, okay? Not a designer, but just his work ethic and just the inspiration, you know, that he gave me as a child. And that...
What line of work was your dad in?
My father did civil engineering, which is construction in a different way, you know? I construct dresses, he constructed buildings.
Absolutely.
Similarities, but not quite the same.
Yes, of course not. Mm-hmm. So you got your work ethic from your father.
Got my work ethic from my father. So, you know, I'm a first-generation South African. I was born in Southern Africa, so just to cut it all short, because it's a complicated life. I've been everywhere and lived everywhere, but I was born in Zimbabwe, lived in Botswana, and South Africa. So those are all three countries that are in Southern Africa. And then, of course, I did my teenage years in Cyprus.
Oh, I see. And you went to School of Design?
Yeah, I did School of Design. I finished high school in 1989. That was Cyprus. Went back to South Africa and did fashion. And that's where I learned the core and the most of what I needed, the basic sort of foundations of fashion.
When did you know you wanted to design clothes?
Actually, quite later in life. Up until I was about 14, 15, I always thought I was going to do architecture. And that was very well liked amongst the family, you know. But then it soon changed. And I decided to take a different direction because just my personality is just one that, you know, needs to change often. So I thought seasons are great. Fashion changes with seasons, so perhaps fashion. Like I was really in search of trying to find a way to use my talent in a way that sort of gave me satisfaction.
And you found that through fashion, dresses and
dresses.
Yeah, dresses. Because I notice it's always, even your pret-a-porter line, I remember. Or was it nightwear?
Yeah, evening cocktail has always sort of been my strength and my signature. So you know, I have you know, I like attention for detail. It's difficult to sort of reproduce something that you've given birth to in many. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, of course. Well, you're painting on someone's body with fabric.
That's it, and that's what haute couture is. That's what couture is. It's really, it's one of a kind, and that's where I find most of my strengths lie, really, in constructing one of a kind type dresses. It's almost like a canvas where I have the person in mind. I have my fabrics and my colors, and I just drape hours into the morning. As
a South African, how do you find life in America? How do you find fashion? How different are the people here and the Greeks?
Well, look, obviously New York is an amazing city. This is one place I've always wanted to be because it's a platform for any artist to come and learn, grow, improve, become so much better than what they thought. You know, so really it carves you to be the best because you've got no choice. And that
keeps you going. That's true. New York is definitely a city.
It keeps you going. Yeah.
It keeps you on your feet.
Yeah. If you're not 2 steps ahead, well, you're gone. You know the saying, it'll chew you up and spit you out in no time.
If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere.
That's exactly what brought me here. Frankie's song.
There you have it.
Yeah. Frank Sinatra. So New York has been a very inspiring place because one, it forces you to find who you really are because it's in search of, because of the fact that there's so much of everything, you really need to find who you really are, what is true to you. In order to really take on that next step. Because the sky is the limit here, and quite honestly, for anybody who's traveled across the planet, you know, you'd want to see yourself improve and be better, and that's the purpose of being here. So it's a constant search to become a better person, do what you do at your very best. And I find New Yorkers have had such a great role because they've been there, you know. All successful New Yorkers know that they've had to...
It is the world of fashion. It's it's the beginning of really... Well, I don't know. I mean, Milan and Paris, as far as fashion is concerned, I think they kind of set the road for...
They really do. I mean...
for the rest of the world when it comes to fashion.
Absolutely. I mean, you know...
But New Yorkers take it and then they wear it and make it their own.
New Yorkers embrace it in a different way. You know, they accept something new with a grander sort of open arms scale, exactly. So, and that's why the opportunities are so much more vibrant here than they are perhaps in Paris or Milan, you know.
So do you like the life here more than Florida?
You know, I love life here because it keeps me going. And you know, you're constantly in search for being a better person and better at what you do. And I love the fast pace as well because that keeps you young, I guess.
I wish we could say that. Makes me feel tired, but anyway.
Well, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Don't you want to get off the merry-go-round a little bit?
Yeah, that's when you hit Greece.
That's right. Greece
get
and
off
Cyprus.
the boat.
If you've had enough in New York, just get on that plane and check out for a couple of weeks.
Check out into a small, nice little hotel on the beach. Have someone serve fish to you. So I guess what I'm saying is a nice balance is good for you. You know, New York is great, but I think you need to get out and enjoy just the simpler things in life, like we know from our Greek side.
That's true. What do women do wrong in fashion?
What do women do wrong in fashion?
What is wrong? I mean, give our viewers your advice on girls, do everything but don't do this.
I think that the one thing that women do wrong is they take advice from all the wrong sources.
Which are?
Which are?
The magazines, I'm kidding.
The magazines. Well, in one aspect, yes, because, you know, what's written in a magazine often caters to the masses, okay? Every single person is different. Everyone is an individual. And I think what's been going on is instead of one finding themselves and their own particular style, you know, they tend to follow a trend.
And they all look the same.
And everyone starts looking the same. And not everything, you know, looks good on everybody. So I think it's really good to just step back, look at yourself, and really, truly find what looks good on you in your own head first before you start taking advice,
right.
You know? Obviously, there's experts out there who can advise you, but I think it all starts from within.
Oh,
it's like finding your own favorite food. You know?
Or color. What
I can't tell you what your favorite food is, Yanamu.
No, you cannot.
But I can tell you what dress looks great on you.
What dress looks good on me?
But you can also say what doesn't look good on you.
Yes, that's true.
So more women need to be like you.
Oh, well, thank you. Angelo, we love you. We love your designs. We want to see more of you. Where can someone find you if they're looking to choose the wedding gown of their dreams? Not only, you'd also do night cocktail dresses and evening gowns.
Yes, you know, quite often we do mothers of the bride, we do, you know, anybody who's attending a gala, an evening event, but predominantly we do cater to your brides. Yes. So we're located in the East Village, here on 96 East 7th Street. And
they can see your designs online?
They can see our designs online if you go to www.angelolambru.com.
Wonderful.
They'll get a flavor of what I'm all about. Good. And there is another boutique where you can find my things, and that's at Gabriella's, also here in Manhattan. But because it's such a personal service that I provide, and because we do haute couture, it is advisable that you come and visit us here, because, you know, our whole concept is creating something that is specifically designed for you, one of a kind.
So look up Angelo when you're ready to have that special dress specifically designed for you by the master, Άγγελο Λάμπρου. Angelo, thank you for having us. We wish you lots of luck and more gowns to come.
Thank you, Gianna. Always a pleasure.